Hello and welcome to the Foundry Roundtable, the podcast exclusively covering the Foundry for Star Trek Online. I'm your tame Foundry author, Drogon1701, and today we are going to be doing a mission playthrough. Joining me, of course, are my co-hosts, Markhawkman and Greendragoon.
Greetings.
And our guest today is Abdul Rahim, a new-ish Foundry author and a regular over at the Starbase UGC chat room. Welcome.
Thank you.
And our mission for the day is Mayhem Episode 2, which, if I am remembering correctly, is subtitled Too Many Mayhems?
Yeah.
That's right. By HippieJohn, who, of course, is our illustrious former co-host, who I wish could join us today, but is still having technical difficulties with his computer. So we will enjoy his mission, though, and he is in the chat room to, I'm sure, answer any questions we might have.
Yell at us that we're doing it wrong.
Yes, and we'll break his mission for him, I'm sure. 'Cause that's what happens when you run as a team. So Abdul, as a new-ish... As a new-ish Foundry author, I would say feel free to ask any questions if you want to know how something was done that you encounter.
Will do.
Maybe we can all learn something.
Okay.
I know. A lot of times I learn things when I run Foundry missions that I would never think of doing. So,
probably the mechanic that has given me the most fits is the timer. You want something to happen at a certain time, and you make the invisible wall, or you make someone fight in a different area.
Yeah.
You trigger it off.
I'm still struggling with that.
It's tricky,
and it's unreliable, I think.
Yeah, it'll never be an exact amount or a specific amount of time. It'll just be a general, passage of time.
All right, so we have the... no, I haven't ever used it.
I use it once in part 2.
Did you? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, where Kamala is crawling through the duct.
Wow.
So there's a certain amount of time that goes while the enemies duke it out. That's supposed to be her crawling through.
Now I remember. That's well done. That I could play through that and not even notice how that worked.
Yeah, there are a couple of enemies duking it out in the next room.
All right, so let's get this mission started. Who wants to be our Ferengi here in the introductory dialogue?
Admiral. I am Durek, an investor with the Pulse Omega Productions. We've never spoken, Admiral, but I was given your name by our producer, a man named Gren. There is a situation that's arisen which impacts my own and some very important friends' investments. We've been told of your abilities and are hoping you can assist us. If you're willing, we could get Assistant Director Berg on the comm for you. This mission is entry for Foundry Challenge number 8, Back to the Past. The official contest is, for this Foundry Challenge, create a mission that's main story revolves around time travel to the past. How far back you go, along with the rest of the backstory, is completely up to you. You can find out more about this Foundry Challenge at the official Stowe forums.
Let me accept. Here is Assistant Director Berg. Vice Admiral, I am Assistant Director Berg of Pulse Omega Productions. We manage a good many of the talented entertainers you see around the universe, and we hold the copyright on the Mark 13 Vulcan Entertainment holoprogram coming out next year.
Get to the point, Mr. Berg. Your associate indicated some kind of problem.
Indeed. Among the talent that we manage are Miranda and the Mayhems. Our producer has set up a gig for them out in Beta Ursay. But the band has gone missing out between the Una system and Regulus space. Producer Gren has asked me to find the Mayhems, and when asking about talented problem solvers in the galaxy, your name often comes up.
All right. Do we want Mr. Berg? This is a Starfleet vessel. I'm flattered, but we do have Starfleet duties. Or I have to hear more before I say yes.
Let's go with the first one.
Mr. Berg, this is a Starfleet vessel. We can't just go off looking for a missing rock star.
Oh, I was worried about this. What if you said no? Vice Admiral, I can tell you the only systems along the route the Mayhems were traveling is the Hugon system. Independent traders and starships avoid the flight paths through the area due to heavy chronometric disturbances.
The area is scientifically interesting. I understand, but my ship still has other orders.
Sir, receiving a message from Starfleet Command, Admiral Quinn's office.
Mr. Berg, I'll get back to you. I'll get back in touch with you. Cut off Pulse Omega and put Quinn's office through.
Hey, sometimes this is a test of our reading skills more than the mission author's skills.
Hello, Admiral. I'm contacting you today with orders from the Admiral's desk. Quinn would be briefing you himself, but with so many promotions every day. I understand. What are our new orders? Between the Una system and the Regulus sector, there is a small collection of nebula. Starfleet has a small research station there for a few years. We've lost contact with the station. Civilian traffic avoids the area as there's a concentration of chronometric and tachyon particles in the surrounding nebula.
How many people are on that station?
Between the Una system and the Regulus sector, there's a small collection of nebula. Should that be nebulae? Starfleet has a small research station there for a few years. We've lost contact with the station. Civilian traffic avoids the area as there's a concentration. Did we just
I think you read that already.
Oh, there we go.
Go into the next one.
Yeah. There's 12 people total on the station, 8 Starfleet and 4 civilian researchers. Hugon Station, it's called. Transmitting coordinates to you now.
Thanks. We'll get on it right away.
Your officer closes the channel to Starfleet.
Get me Mr. Berg. Admiral, I'm hoping you're contacting me with good news.
Your band disappeared where again, Mr. Berg?
Out past the Una system, headed toward the Regulus block. Only thing out that way
Is an old Federation research station. My orders take me that way. I'll look for your people.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to thank you enough.
The author would like to take a moment to remind you that the V key activates your scanner. It will direct you to the location of the next objective if you become confused during the mission about what to do next. Cut channel.
Actually, I did think of one relatively easy way that a Ferengi can thank people with Latin milk.
Yeah, but that would be sincere, though.
Yes. All right, everybody got the mission?
Yep.
Yep, I'm ready.
Admiral, course is set for the Hugon system. It's not fire, sir. Engines are ready. Start the mayhem.
Let's start the mayhem.
And just kind of a little bit of background for people who may not know. Miranda Mayhem is HippieJohn's take on basically Saturday morning cartoons.
I think specifically Gem and the Holograms, if anybody remembers them.
Nope.
The Pussycats, right?
I
thought it was the
several,
Pussycats.
I saw several of the TV shows from that period, but not Gem.
I think I was watching.
It's not one I ever watched. I was all about the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I saw those a lot. Wildcats.
Thundercats?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Oh,
There was some sort of cartoon with a bunch of like cat-looking people piloting a starship, and I can never remember the name of it.
Space Cats.
Space Cats?
I know the name sounds more like a description of the TV show than a proper name, but hey.
Maybe, for all I know. I have a bad memory. All right. Who wants to be the science officer?
We've arrived in the HippieJohn system, Admiral. Sensors are showing a high concentration of chronometric activity in the surrounding nebula clouds. HippieJohn station is right ahead of us. We're already experiencing temporal fluctuations just beginning in the system. One other ship on sensors closer to the station.
Identify.
Independently registered Rysian corvette, the Mayhem.
That's who we're looking for. Take us close enough for comms.
All right, who wants to play Miranda?
I didn't expect to be seeing a Starfleet subcommander out here. Mayhem's the name. Miranda Mayhem. What are you doing here, Starfleet?
All right, it's either we came to find you or we're investigating HippieJohn station.
Let's see. Based on the earlier choices, we're mostly here to investigate the station.
Okay.
So let's choose that one.
After some of the chronomatic readings, where we got traveling past the system, we decided to do the same.
What readings? You've been here long enough to get a lot more than we have in the last few minutes.
We detected all kinds of fluctuations in the chronomatic stuff around the station. I figured that's what these scientists are out here studying. But I've also got sensors giving me reports of triologic radiation signatures both in the surrounding nebula and aboard the station.
Triolic radiation? That could mean Davidians.
And Davidians mean trouble. Mayhem, we like. Trouble, we don't. We haven't been able to raise the station on comms since we arrived, and there's an interference field preventing us from transporting. But given your ship's state of the art of Starfleet tech...
To your officers, can you get through the field? I'll have to make some minor adjustments, but it's possible some of the data contained in the memory files of the station satellites would help.
Mayhem, we're going to gather some data from the satellites. Hold tight.
That's you, Abdul.
Oh, understood. We'll keep our scans of the station active.
Closed channel.
Closed channel. There's a reason we're not all actors in Hollywood.
Clearly.
No, but I play one in Foundry missions.
We're scanning the satellites here for some data. And using our V keys, like HippieJohn reminded us. There's the last one.
We're looking at an incredible amount of background and active radiation signatures in this system, Admiral. Chronometric, baryonic, trielic, and dozens of others. That's it. These satellites have a program for sending information to the main stations. This gives me what I need to get through the inhibitor field.
Good. Take us back to the station.
Oop. Time when you leave in full impulse on. It worked, Admiral. I've got the station's inhibitor field frequencies. We will have no problem transporting aboard the station.
Good. Get me the Mayhem.
Good news, Admiral?
Our transporters can get through the field. Get your team ready.
Excellent. Aside... Asteroid?
Asteroid.
Rossi, gear up. Time for some mayhem.
We'll meet you aboard the station.
Away team standing by.
Transport.
Yeah, we should put in somebody besides Hiven.
I don't know if-
Unfortunately, I can't select who gets to bring a bridge officer.
But
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
Nah.
whatever.
Who do you want?
I'm sure we can handle anything that comes along.
As the. So I just noticed that we're running on advanced.
Uh-oh.
Well, does it take yours, or does it take the team leaders?
Team leaders.
Who's the team leader?
Because I'm the team leader,
Look,
and
it is not
I've
me.
got it on normal.
Okay.
So you might, Abdul, you might want to hit the whatchamacallit to come up to my level.
Okay. I thought I did.
I don't know. I didn't look to see if you did or not, but so you may have.
On the upside, Abdul, you'll get gear that sells for more than you will otherwise.
Awesome. Awesome. Now if I
Right.
can just sneak it out from Mayhems.
This is
How'd you-
Redshirt Robert.
As you materialize on the transport pad, you see that another Miranda Mayhem is here waiting for you. Okay, that's weird.
You look back and forth between the two Miranda Mayhems.
You think it's weird for you, Red Shirt? Imagine being two of me at the same time. A little hard to contain the awesome, right? Okay, other me. I have to admit, it's pretty freaking cool standing here with another me. But why exactly is there another me standing here talking to me right now? This has something to do with the crazy time distortion and things I can't even begin to explain that are going on aboard the station.
I don't really even know which one of you is speaking right now.
I have robotically perfect hearing and a built-in tricorder system that would make soon androids jealous. I can tell you that while there are two of them, they're identical in every way.
Is that true? I look to my officers.
Also correct. The two have slightly different chronophasic variants.
Of course we have different chromos, whatevers. I'm from the future, sent here to the past to stop you from making the same stupid mistakes you made in this place.
This breaks so many Starfleet protocols.
It's a good thing we're not Starfleet. And I think it's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Fine. What's the plan from here?
I'm detecting trialic radiation from a nearby science lab and a storage room very nearby.
My team will take the storage room and meet you in the lab.
Sounds good, Starfleet. See you in the lab.
Say one thing that HippieJohn has done with this is created some great characters.
Yeah, I like that. The phase out.
Assimilated to Astrid and Red Shirt, something or other.
Robert.
Yeah,
Robert.
the red shirt.
I think there's a different one every time, right?
Yeah, there's a different red shirt every time.
So we're in the cargo hold here.
Vice Admiral, I am picking up interesting readings from 2 of the crates in the storage room. Trialic radiation in both cases, but trace sample, like suggests closer scan.
All right.
All right.
Closer scans.
These crates have collection and storage devices in them, Admiral. They are specifically tuned to trialic radiation signatures. We already know that the nebula contains trialic radiation in varying amounts. This could be part of the ongoing observation and research.
Let's move on.
This is cool. There's an alcove with a house plant. What?
We'll fly by text there saying, the mayhem is starting. Oh. Looks like Red Shirt Robert's already dead.
Sounds normal. It's a red shirt after all.
I was just starting to like him.
Yeah, what happened?
What are you talking about? He didn't even get any dialogue, hardly. like a good red shirt.
What are you looking at here, Roxy?
And what the heck were those things?
I call them ghosts, time ghosts, Admiral. I think they're somehow connected to the group of the station that you probably should have expected to see by now.
You're from the future. Do you already know all this?
Some of those, whatever they were, did seem to be wearing what looked like Starfleet uniforms.
I know some, Admiral. One of the scientists here went on over to Crazy Land. Full on nutso super villain status. Not so super villain status. Calls himself Dr. Kronos now. He's done some kind of weird experiments to the other people here. And now we have those time ghosts to deal with.
I take it science isn't your thing.
The applied sciences have never been Miranda's thing.
You have noticed your red shirt is dead out there, right?
You have no idea how many red shirts you end up going through during a tour.
Okay. What are we looking at here?
I'm scanning a variety of radiation processing units collected to this console. The station allows for biographical and radiological 3D modeling.
So, what are we looking at?
Best guess is...
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Mark. I'll let you read it.
My best guess is a radiation processing unit connected to station engineering and waste disposal. but those leads from the console do go all over the station.
Still nothing that wouldn't be used in normal station operations. Tell me more about Dr. Kronos.
Kronos? Guy works with a trilogic energy too long and gets obsessed with time and time travel and all. He's up on the top level in the very not secret lab.
What else do you know? What did you come back to warn us about?
Last time we left this room, you insisted on visiting the mess hall. You insisted on visiting the mess hall when your science officer detected life signs there, along with one of the worst of the effects of Dr. Kronos' experiments. Not going into gruesome detail, but a bunch of people die.
So this is worth coming back in time and breaking the laws of space-time for. But you're a red shirt?
Not sure. I see your point here, Starfleet.
Admiral, I'm detecting life signs down the hallway. They just appeared with a massive chronoflux in what I think is the mess hall. Both Miranda Mayhems raise an eyebrow.
Options?
I can set up a containment field from that console just in the hallway.
Good. We didn't do that last time. And the life signs, Admiral, just echoes from more time goes. With a containment field, if you want to have a look, go ahead. But we should head to the turbo lift to the right.
Yeah, too much information about the future. All right. Heading to a turbo lift.
I guess the...
I noticed that they stayed there that time. Why didn't they fade off the way they did before?
What are you talking about?
The Mirandas.
Probably because they weren't said to?
Up? I thought it said up, right?
Let's see.
found
We
it.
need to take the turbo lift to the upper levels, which is question
Down
mark.
here. It's the lower. Down here.
I found a spot on the lower level where you can do the interact to activate the containment field. I mean, because like, you know, what the thing said, push V, well, the tricorder thing pointed to the lower level.
Okay.
Sir, access to the upper levels of the station is restricted from this turbo lift.
The controls can't be fully overridden fully, but I can get you access to the next level from here. Fortunately, it appears quiet enough. Now that those creatures are defeated, and with the containment field being up, that I will be able to continue scans and computations from the console and equipment here.
All right, let's go. And so, assimilated Astrids stayed behind as the group bravely moved on to the next level of the station. We'll get back to them in a moment. Just press the button for the extra special bonus scene in the middle.
Shouldn't that be yellow?
No idea.
I would have made it
Because it's out of character text.
I would have made it yellow.
Okay.
Press the button.
So, silly question here.
Okay.
Why is it that we still don't have a functional elevator or turbo lift?
You mean
It's
like
because-
a teleporter? Like-
Because
Like,
apparently
I
what
heard-
Cryptic can't actually make like moving platforms, is what Taco told me. It doesn't work in the engine.
Yeah.
You can try to fake it, but if you do fake it, the results are so unreliable, it's not worth using in a mission.
All right, so yeah, are you talking about turbolifts actually moving, or are you talking about jumping from one turbolift to another in on the same map?
Same map, like upstairs, downstairs. Like,
Well, like
in one of my
doors on Deep
projects,
Space
I
Nine.
used the whole Sky Castle thing, and what I used is ramps, right, to get up to the second level, and then I used a ramp to go to like the third level, right? Mm-hmm. And my idea was to make a turbo lift that would go up and down, so I could make multiple floors, right? But of course, obviously, this doesn't work. So
yeah. In official crypto missions, they'll use a teleporter. So basically, it moves the character from one spot and then respawns them at a different location.
Yeah, I mean, like a good example would be to go to the Deep Space Nine social zone map and use the turbo lift to get to the upper floor.
Right, but but that's the whole thing. I don't want.
That's not really an elevator, though. So it just
I don't want it doesn't give you the option to not have the teleport effect. Like anytime you do it,
I know.
You always teleport. And I don't want the teleport. I want it to like
that's kind of hardwired
phase out. Yeah, I just want it to like phase out to black or something.
In theory, it's something that they could give us the option to do, but at the time we do not have the capability to designate transition effects.
Yeah. And we'll say that, as far as in-map teleporter goes, Neverwinter does have them. So, you put one end down, you put the other end down, and you can teleport back and forth between them.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get them soon.
Someday.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Someday.
Anyways, hey there, you're not really here. This happens sometimes, because things keep happening all over the galaxy, not matter what you and the Mayhems are up to. If you want to hear what is happening with the comm call that Ferengi on the bridge is having, interact with the nearby console. You can play Dabo when you're ready to move on.
So basically this is HippieJohn's solution to our lack of a cutscene tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so try to get a good view here. Somebody hit that interact.
That's an interesting hollow Leroy.
This is Girine's henchman. We're breaking into a conversation here. And you understand how much we're paying you to keep us informed of things like this war relief tour.
As you cannot see the face of the Ferengi in the chair, the part will be portrayed by an actor from Hamlet's cast of this dialogue. I assume the face of the Ferengi is...
color of your platinum, and for work it's easy. I feel like I'm practically robbing you. I mean...
You watch your tongue, Ferengi. I'd hate to have to cut it out. Now, before we're done here, I want to confirm one more time that Mayhem is going to be out at that mining station near Alhena for the War Relief Tour.
Yeah, she'll be there. There's a scheduled stop for the band out at Drazana Station 2 on the way to the gig. I'm not certain what that's about. If you miss them at Eta E, the next stop is out in Beta Ursay. I'll get you the information on that gig as soon as I have it.
Then we'll get you the next shipment of Latinum when we get that information. Girine's dance comm closed. Meanwhile...
And time to go.
Meanwhile, back to our heroes.
So, out of curiosity, what do you guys usually use when you want to do that out-of-body kind of text? Where it's not anyone talking, but it's just text you're delivering to the player?
Yeah, probably the gold text, the OOC.
Well, I meant more specifically, what do you use for a contact?
Well, I use one of the consoles, usually.
Well, the one time I can think of that I've ever actually done that, I used a Vulcan monk. Why? Because it's just one of those things that was so totally out of place in the mission that you would kind of
You wouldn't
guess you
assume
would
that
say.
it was supposed to be there.
You would realize it was out of character.
As you step off the turbo lift, you are greeted by another Miranda Mayhem. Wait, I've come from the future.
Oh boy.
Nope, didn't see this coming. Wait, who's Spike?
Wait, was that oh boy
Spike is one of the Mayhems.
was that oh boy a Quantum Leap joke?
Certainly
Clearly.
could be.
Probably.
Came to mind.
Why are you here,
It's
another
close.
me? Because the last time we came through this level, we were overrun.
Overrun.
We've got to set up a containment field around the lower lab on this level. Another one of those time portals is opening in there, and time ghosts are gonna come pouring out of it.
HippieJohn says, yes, that is a Quantum Leap reference. Let's find a way to set up that containment field.
There should be a console near the doors of what lab ahead that we can access those controls. We can set up a containment field there.
Good.
We'll be able to get more information on what this Dr. Kronos has been doing from the computers in the lab.
First, we need to set up that containment field. Mark's way ahead of us.
With the containment field set up, we should be able to take time to scan the lab and check the computers for more information on what Kronos is doing here. Scan the machines in the lab and download information from the computers.
Nod.
Spike, I want you guarding the door while Starfleet here does their work. Roxy, see what you can do with the computer banks.
Let's get to work. So the guys in the chat room were talking about how they would like to see Cryptic do like a series of holodeck missions, like some of the famous ones from the show. Which can be fun, like Captain Proton and Dixon Hill, and
The only problem with that
Honestly,
is,
that would be a very good idea.
yeah, it'd be a
Yeah.
tough call for them though, because it would have
fun,
to
but
be
it'd
all
be a
new
lot of work.
assets.
yeah.
Okay, so here's the console I got. Vice Admiral, this is set up to control radiation flow through what looks like injectors contained in those machines below.
Injectors? Question mark.
The computer databases are linked to the station's medical computers. This console is set up as a monitoring station for whatever injections were being controlled from there.
We should check out these injectors.
To the injectors! Where are the injectors? Somewhere over here.
Where are the injectors?
Maybe this isn't a multi-level. Is it?
It
Maybe.
might be.
Come over here.
Not over there.
Over here. I'm standing on them.
Oh, those are the. These guys are.
These are these big things here.
Look, as we completely missed it.
Yeah.
Well, I think
No, it's
what
not
he
like
did
we're
is
experienced gamers
use
or
the invisible interact object trick with a piece of the set.
Yeah, so that these are not glowing. I don't know. These might be built into the set. I'm not sure.
Sir, these modules have been retrofitted for what appears to be radiation injections. I'm detecting high traces of trialic radiation here.
What would they have been injecting?
The station's crew.
What?
These displays here are monitoring the medical conditions of the test subjects. Dr. Kronos has been experimenting with altering the crew here by injecting them with trialic radiation.
So these time ghosts.
The time ghosts are the station's personnel. We figured that out last time we came through.
Is there anything we can do to save them?
I'm detecting the highest concentrations of trielic rate energy and chronometric disturbance on the level above us. That anomaly is spawning all of the rest of the temporal portals. There is a chance that if we can shut that anomaly down, energy levels on the station will return to normal.
Would that help the crew?
It might normalize them long enough to get them to your Starfleet doctors and scientists. Bergen.
Might is all we have right now, Starfleet. We should move on and try to get to the upper level.
You're right.
There's a turbolift at the other end of this level.
Sorry, I muted myself. We've got more of those time ghosts between here and there.
Shall we?
We shall.
For some reason, I think Spike should sound like Sean Connery.
We've got more of those time ghosts.
Exactly. That would be great.
Between here and there.
Oh yeah,
He did awesome work in that movie as a dragon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I can't think of the name of it.
Dragonheart.
He was the voice of the dragon.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking you were talking about this movie where I thought it was a wizard, and one of his goals in life was to kill a dragon. Maybe that's a different movie. Yeah.
Anyway.
Not sure.
That's the last of them for the moment, sir.
Has a frackin' leap.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Bleep.
You can see a wound on Roxy's leg, lightly sparkling. The Roxy the robot swears.
Apparently
so.
Why is it always my freaking leg?
Are you going to be okay?
Roxy's got self-repair capabilities. She'll be fine. You'll be fine, right, Roxy?
I will be fine, but I'm going to need some time.
What about this turbo lift?
That console will let us unlock the upper level. We can set it to let us out near the lab that's generating the chronometric anomalies.
Good. I say one of the issues with team playing Foundry missions is that sometimes one person will run ahead and kill all the mobs, and the timing can be off a little bit.
I thought in this case it was an AI that killed the mob.
It's possible it could have been.
That's it, sir. Turbolift is unlocked.
All right, let's get moving.
Roxy.
You'll have to go on without me, Miranda. I'll repair, but this is going to take a while.
Spike, you're staying here to guard Roxy while she repairs.
I get
None,
this feeling
none shall
that
harm the robot. It will be as Mayhem commands.
The robot's name is Roxy.
Can we move on now?
I get the feeling that as soon as we step out of the turbolift, there's going to be another Mayhem.
Yeah.
Whatever would give you that idea?
Pattern recognition?
Can Admiral MacGyvers and the Mayhems stop Dr. Kronos and save the crew of the Huon station? Stay tuned. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
He's definitely capturing that cartoon feel.
Jerry, did you? I
We
heard
need
a.
like toy commercials during this during the loading screens.
Speaking of, I read an article not too long ago, but apparently the last station that was doing Saturday morning cartoons stopped.
Really?
They apparently don't do Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
How sad.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious.
Well,
that has destroyed my childhood more than
there are
the
still
Star Wars special editions.
Stations that show cartoons on Saturday mornings. It's just not quite the same thing as it used to be.
Like a public or a broadcast station.
I think my kids still watch cartoons in the morning. But you know what? I think they look at the cable channel.
Yeah, because I mean, there's still like Cartoon Network and stuff, or Nickelodeon, whatever. But
so apparently, Hippie had the same idea I did because we're now in the commercials.
And now a word from our sponsors. I'm Chance Jackson, and we're here with interactable commercial advertisements. Simply interact with the items around the room and receive more information about them. Revenue from these ads goes to fund future Mayhem programming.
Chance Jackson? Wait a minute. Don't you do film crew work?
Most days I'm a celebrity photographer too, but they have us contracted for these first 3 episodes, and today is where they decided to use us.
Voiceover work.
Oh,
go ahead.
Voiceover work for commercials is so much nicer than getting chewed on by animals. No, see Mary Mayhem episode 1, Cute Fuzzy Things.
That's the plot of Cute Fuzzy Things.
Note how he says cute, not harmless.
When I'm done. When you're done, just have some surgery, squirming rock bites, and then interact with that panel to the right over there.
Sugary.
That'll take you back to the end of the episode.
In case
Sugary
anyone doesn't know what
racked
racked
bites.
is, it's one of those Klingon worms.
Well, rock bites is a joke from Primetime UGC. This is the Klingon cereal commercial that they made.
Ah.
All right, let's see here. What do we got? Action figures.
Interact? Or no?
Commander Box. The 2409 action figure set. Heroes of Starfleet Edition. Commander Box. Action figure.
Does that really look like a little Tonka truck?
Oh, yeah. He's the only one so far that I've seen
that's
has found a use for it.
Truck. Like,
That is an actual Foundry asset. As far as I know, it came from the TOS assets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the action figure, this guy is handsome when armed with a phaser that comes standard with the toy. Heroes of Starfleet also include Captain David Ford of the USS Texas, hero of many engagements with Klingon forces with distinctive scar. This year's Heroes line also includes Ensign Helna with Astrometrics grip, comes standard with Science Tricorder. Part of the Heroes of Science limited edition set. Next action figure is the Romulan Ally, typical civilian dress for many Romulan civilians on Mulrahan. To see more action figures Romulan series, stay tuned to Mayhem in the coming weeks.
And of course, Commander Box is a reference to the unofficial name of the
handsome phaser guy.
Handsome phaser guy from the original box art for Stowe.
Yep.
Here's something cool. I found a bowl with anti-gravity technology built in.
It can be tough to get those Y values. And the glow is showing it off.
I think you should incorporate that into the episode.
Actually, what do you see when you interact with that object?
Anti-gravity bowl, sold separately.
Let's see what we get from this one. Did you eat this morning, little warrior? You must get a good meal to keep your strength up or you will fail. I have just the thing. Kellogg's Rocked Bites, the life shield that has everything the growing warrior needs. It is a meal fit for Collis himself and part of an honorable breakfast. House of Kellogg, Rocked Bites, best served still squirming. Oh boy.
Awesome. So Hippie, a suggestion, if you're still here and listening. You need like a gigantic list of things that are sold separately after those action figures. Like a ridiculous, huge list. All right, so what does the truck say? Argo.
The Argo. You want to read it?
Sure. The Argo, a playset for your action figures. Used in exploration as far back as the late 24th century, the famous Argo Explorer vehicle playset is one of the most faithful recreations of the craft ever produced, with room for 3 action figures. The Argo playset comes complete with 3 sets of impact goggles to protect the occupant's eyes from high-speed chases in alien environments. The Argo has no protective windshielding. Roll bars protect the officers inside. A large anti-vehicle gun is mounted in the back. The storage area in the back of the Argo has room for an android head. Get the Argo for your action figures today.
It's awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So let's see.
I just want to comment that this is kind of a cool redress of the TOS interior.
You know, I just noticed something that's an actual problem that Hippie needs to fix.
Yeah.
The wall console button that you're supposed to click to leave the map is embedded in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. There it
You
is
can
up there.
reach it, but, you know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that he
Not
used...
sure if he meant to do that or not.
I'm guessing they used a relative Y value, and where he put it
absolute
just
0.
popped up.
It looks like it's about 2 meters too high up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go stop Dr. Kronos.
Sounds good.
And now back to the Mayhem.
Go stop Dr. Kronos.
Here's another question. Just like clearly HippieJohn has a particular writing style. How did you all develop your writing styles?
I don't know if that's something you consciously do or not. I think everyone just develops differently. It's like a drawing style or anything else. It's kind of just how
to a certain extent, your writing style is an extension of your personality.
Yeah, so I mean...
And sometimes it can change over time, and sometimes you can consciously alter it to suit what you're trying to do. Like I'm sure Hippie has here, because he's definitely trying to capture the language and the things people say in those cartoons and in commercials like we were just watching.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you ever find yourself doing the same, where you alter your own writing style away from what you feel is normal, what you would normally write?
Well, did you listen to the interview thing that they did with Ethan Phillips, where he talked about playing Neelix and acting in general? Well, one of the things that he mentioned is that you can't stop being yourself as an actor. You focus on exaggerating certain aspects of your own character in order to act the part.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of...
And we can do the same in writing.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay. As you step off the turbo lift, yes, another me. Could this day get any cooler?
Could you ignore temporal regulations and break the laws of time any more?
Probably.
Fight sarcasm with sarcasm. Fine. Let me guess. You're meeting us here because something is about to go wrong, and...
No, I just figured I'd wait for you guys. Me alone, charging into the fight Dr. Kronos and a dozen of his time ghosts. Just didn't sound like a good plan.
I assume his lab is up ahead?
And I'm guessing that there's some sort of containment field separating us from the lab. You are so smart, other me. I mean, I already knew that, but I love it when I say something smart. Fortunately for us, the console controlling the force field is right over there.
Let's go stop Dr. Kronos then.
It's an interesting evil overlord trope, making it so that you always have the equipment controlling a force field on the outside of the force field where the heroes can break it.
Clearly.
That's it,
That's it,
Admiral.
Vice Admiral.
Field's
You-
down. Time to confront Dr. Kronos.
It's amazing how we did that almost in perfect unison.
Yeah.
Be ready, team. We've seen what these time ghosts of his can do. Let's go.
Yeah, his time ghosts get shot and die almost immediately. Speaking of shooting them,
Ooh, this drops my frame rate
Welcome
just
to
a
my
bit.
laboratory, Admiral. But you and the Mayhems are too late. Wah-ha-ha-ha.
Dr. Kronos.
Yes. Or were you not looking for confirmation there? Are you just in the habit of calling out your enemies' names dramatically upon meeting them?
Shut up, Kronos. We're here to put an end to your plans.
Shut up? Do you have any idea how unbelievably rude that is? I mean, I spent a good deal of time perfecting this whole time ghost experiment, and now you just expect me to shut up without explaining my evil master plan in detail before I summon my time ghost to kill you?
We have no time for your villainous monologues. Defend yourself.
Kill them, my minions! Kill them all!
Did he just say minions?
I'm not sure what time ghosts are, but they die really fast.
I think they're, Oh yeah, he's definitely using reskinned, Davidians here.
Hippie says we skipped his evil, terrible monologue.
Did we?
Well, that's what you get for giving us an option to skip it.
I told him to shut up.
The rest of the Mayhems arrive as the fight ends. All hostiles subdued.
Can we shut this thing down?
I think so, sir. We just have to get to the control consoles and... I can shut it down. Can't shut it... Well, you can't shut it down yet.
Can't shut it down? Why not?
I've run all the variables. Before we shut this down, we have to send the Mirandas back in time to where they meet us throughout the station.
Really?
That would keep the effects of the chronometric disturbances limited to the events we've experienced here on the station.
Miranda's? Question mark.
Fine. But you know the universe would have been more awesome with 4 of me in it.
I'm pretty sure it would also create a temporal paradox if we didn't.
You get on the platform. I'll activate the machine. Use my
Also, I'm
V key.
pretty sure this glowy effect in the room is actually several different copies of the same
It's the
prop
time portal.
scattered.
Time portal.
Yeah, but there's several of them.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4, I should think.
I would actually guess 5.
Is that what's going on? It's a cool effect.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now we gotta send the Mirandas back in time.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of the fade to white that you have in your one.
Sir, now that we have sent the Mirandas back in time, we need to shut this anomaly down. The control consoles near the platform should have the proper access.
There's still one Mayhem.
One of the Mayhems is obviously supposed to be with us.
Just shut this thing down, Starfleet.
I'm on it. Here we are. Shutting it down. Shutting it down again.
Oh, you got to do each one.
Shut down the third console. You see, you're despawning one of those portals each time.
Oh, was it only 3 of them?
Looks like you've done it, Starfleet.
Excellent work, people. Sorry, go ahead.
Looks like you've done it, Starfleet.
Excellent work.
Vice Admiral, can someone please tell me what is going on here?
Report.
Other members of the crew are reappearing on other decks. They all need to be looked at by Starfleet Medical, but I think we're clear here, sir.
And that?
That's all, folks. Of course, you could always click the button for the bonus scene at the end.
Just click the button already. Click the button, Frank.
You know, you guys know where this room is, right?
This is
USD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the old girl back.
Well, that hologram of the solar system is something that you can't add as a prop.
Nope.
Oh, so it's okay. I know what you're talking about.
It's ESD 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone thought about trying to do something on ESD 1.0?
I haven't quite read. I'm not quite ready for a time traveler. Not gonna.
One of my test missions, I mapped out the locations of all the different things on the old Great Hall map.
All right.
Okay,
the scene
so
at the end.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is another one of those "you're not really here" moments. Feel free to listen in on some villainous plans that may affect things in the future by talking with DJ
Girind.
Garind. When you're done, just rock out at the door to end the mission.
And HippieJohn gets the award for the first person I've ever seen to use the guitar emote.
Oh, you've never played my Klingon Spotlight then.
And you have a lot of missions.
I do. Let's talk to DJ Girind. Miranda Mayhem and her allies have thwarted my plans too many times. That's where you all come in.
That is a very interesting looking alien.
I called all of you, but you're the best bounty hunters across the galaxy.
The color of your money is good, but your flattery is appreciated. What's the job?
Miranda and the Mayhems is the job, and the meddlesome Starfleet officers that have decided to assist her.
Starfleet? I might have done this job for free.
We can hunt the ones you seek, but do you want them alive?
I want Miranda and the Mayhems alive. The lot of you can do what you like with any Starfleet that are involved.
They will be assimilated.
My armada will block out the stars.
Excellent. Now, let me give you some names.
If I have calculated and account for most of the variables, I am now thanking you for playing episode 2 of Mayhem. Hope you enjoyed it. Other stories in Mayhem experience now available. The Rizia Caper, short story in the 10 Forwards section of the Stowe forums. Mayhem episode 1, Cute Fuzzy Things, Foundry Mission. And coming soon, Mayhem episode 3, Bounty Hunters. This episode has been brought to you as part of the Foundry Challenge number 8, Back to the Past. For more information on the Foundry Challenge can be found on the official Stowe website.
The end.
And now we rock out.
You notice there's a few references to the bounty hunter scene from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back in here.
I already played this one. It's still a good mission. And if they'll let me, I can live tags. I didn't do that last time. Story, combat, mostly ground, solo. Seems group friendly. No puzzles.
Yeah,
No
yeah, I'd say it didn't do bad. There wasn't any space combat. No.
No.
There was one space map, and all we did was fly around and interact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling him that it's a funny mission, and it captures those Saturday morning.
That always gets me at the end. Okay, so was there a puzzle in this?
No, not
really.
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, and that doesn't dialogue puzzles don't count for that, right? Or do they?
This didn't have a dialogue puzzle either.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had multiple options for some things, but it wasn't a puzzle because of the fact that there was nothing. You weren't really trying to do something. You were just clicking through things.
All right. And the last question: quarters. Aren't quarters anything he's built? The interior.
Quarters are maps that are specifically.
Case, no.
Quarters are maps that are specifically designed for like RP or something where it's just a location. There's no story, no combat, nothing else.
Okay,
yeah,
so quarters are not included in your building. Like if you build a very impressive set, that isn't quarters.
Only if it's you built it specifically for the expressive set. It's not an actual Foundry mission, or not a mission in the sense that it's a story mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, for instance, we went when they first put in that tag. I went through a few of them, and there's a lot of it is meant for sort of like player housing, where somebody has just built a map, and put enough objectives on it so that it is publishable, and so you can go into it and interact with things, and you can hang out and all that kind of stuff. So like it's essentially Stowe's player housing.
Okay.
In a way.
Like I said, that's another. When I first read quarters, like I said, I thought that meant the build. Like, if you liked what you saw.
Well, that's sort of the problem with those tags, is that they can be interpreted in different ways, right? By different players. All right, so what did we think of this mission, guys?
I thought it was pretty good.
Fun.
I mean, it requires a little bit of suspension of disbelief just to handle all of the things that he wants to do, but obviously is working around technical limitations to get around. But I mean, overall, it's got a lot of funny parts. It's definitely there's a certain nostalgia element going on here with its references back to Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, from the 80s and 90s.
It's a very enjoyable mission.
Yeah. I see. Once you kind of get that, what he's trying to go for, I think it very much works on that level.
And of course,
I also think that he gave us there was a good balance to the amount that you did on each map. I didn't feel like any map was like too short or too long.
No, the flow was definitely very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also like the mechanic he used early in the where he phased out after we talked to the Mayhems. Like they phased out. Like by the time y'all turned and walked away, they were phasing out. And I stood there and I watched because I was looking for that. And remember that's because I noticed the second time he didn't phase him out. And I don't know. It's another mechanic that I've been working on as well.
If I'm remembering back correctly, it works because the first time they go off to investigate one area of the station, you go off to another, so he disappears the first group. And then the second group, you go off to do something, but they stay there.
Oh.
To do something.
I think in a lot of cases he's trying to simulate the group moving with you, which obviously we don't have tech to do.
As much as we can, yeah. Mm-hmm. I say there's that method of doing it, and then there's method where you can, you spawn them and they patrol along, you can follow them. If you can do that.
Is there a way to make them walk away?
No. Really.
We can do a patrol, but they'll just walk in a circle, basically. And
that's the idea. I want to try to. That would be awesome if you could get a person to talk to you, right? And then when you got finished, you saw them. They physically walked away, right? Let's say out a door or something, and then you despawn them when they walked away.
The problem with that, though, is that we can't turn on and off a patrol. A patrol is always active as long as the patrolling unit is on the map.
Yeah. You would have to swap out.
A way I could think of
NPCs.
Doing this, is doing that.
Right.
Yeah, it's understood. It's me trying to not understanding the limitations, right? It's me not understanding the limitations and wanting more.
Well,
I can kind of describe to you. I can kind of describe to you how you could do something like that. Okay, so you start with a room. And you start with, we'll use the Mayhems in this case. The Mayhems are in the room. And they say, okay, we're going to go down this hall into the next room. So after they say that dialogue, you despawn that group that's just standing there. You spawn in a new NPC group, skinned as the Mayhems. Have them a patrol set with one point, down that hall and into the other room. So they will then proceed to walk down there and go to the other room. You want to have the player follow that, or follow them, and then you have a reach marker so that when the player gets to that next room with them, that despawns that patrol group, spawns in a new group that's just standing there in that other room.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the way to sort of get around that and make that happen.
And yes, I'm thinking directly out of the latest series, out of the Delta Quarter. Like when you beam to the Voyager, right? You meet the officer, right? She talks to you. You have a dialogue. You talk to her for a moment. And then she asks you to follow her. Well, she walks you down to the turbo lift.
Yeah, I know.
It's a gimmick.
Cryptic does that a lot.
Yeah, and then she phases out.
Yeah, Cryptic can do all sorts of things that we can't possibly, because we have to work with stock behavior sets.
There are several Cryptic missions where they will have an NPC follow you as if they're one of your bridge officers, but we can't do that.
Which Neverwinter actually does have that.
Neverwinter can do that, yes.
Oh, you're talking about like Neelix, where Neelix follows you all around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is
another
behavior you can set
would be Step Between the Stars, where you have Tuvok following you around and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do that a lot. It's not something that we can do currently, but what you can do is set a patrol and tell the player to follow that person. So you got to switch it out.
This tech is actually something that Cryptic has had for a very, very long time. They just didn't give it to us. Because they actually introduced that way back in one of the Klingon War episodes, where you have Miral Paris follow you around the map.
Yeah, I mean, on Cryptic's end, that's been around as long as the game itself.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. What do you think of essentially post-credit scenes, like this one that we experience here, watching these guys plot the capture of the Mayhems?
Oh, it's smart. It's smart.
It's a good way to advertise your own work.
Yeah, it's leading. It takes you to, oh, well, he told us clearly, if you interact with it, you can, learn more, right? So it's a smart advertisement.
Also, as for the design of this room, I've come to the conclusion that Acacian is incapable of escape because HippieJohn used Invisawalls as well as whatever this octagonal glass is. Actually, I think these are the Deep Space Nine security office doors.
It's always good to bring somebody like Mark along when you're testing a mission because he will find all of the cracks to get through, right?
Yeah, see, there's a gap between one of the doors and the wall that looks like it's wide enough for a person to squeeze through over here, but whenever you try to walk through it, nothing, because there's an Invisawall there.
I think some of this is built into the map as well. I think these...
Also, I tried jumping through the notches at the top, and you can't. And after a few times, I noticed that when I hit the spot where there's the notch, I'll actually see a shadow in mid-air in the middle of the notch, which tells me there's an Invisawall there.
So Horient in the chat room says, the scene works because of the mission's tone, but in a straight mission it wouldn't. Now, we did see one of these in what you might call a straight mission, a sort of a serious tone mission, which was Pax Federatica's Romulan series that we did live playthroughs. Yeah, he had a post-credit scene where it had lots of the characters standing around. You could talk to them and find out more things, backstories, things like that.
Yeah, and that was basically a passage of time in the future sort of a scene. But unlike this one, it was the one where your character was supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was presented a little bit differently.
Ooh, hey, come stand over here. I noticed that the window things are not lined up with the actual wall. There's about a half a meter gap.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, I think the wall is a custom asset, but those things, the windows are built into the map, because I don't think we have that asset that is placeable.
We don't? Thought we did.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, they have to be an asset because they're clearly not part of the...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I'm looking at this and I see that the railing, and I can halfway remember this base map. And,
this is one of the Deep Space Nine interiors. Like one of the ones where... Yeah, one of them.
No, this is that Cardassian station you go to as part of the Davidian FE series.
Ooh,
but yeah,
you know what? You're right. Yeah.
Well, it's a Cardassian station anyway.
Because if I remember right, this is the one where you wander around looking at the Cardassians who had their life force drained by the Davidians.
No, this isn't the same one. We don't actually have that map. You're talking about the Axion interior.
Oh, maybe this is Terok Nor then.
It could be. I'm not sure.
Terok Nor. This isn't Terok Nor either. Not a Terok Nor map. It's not an Empok Nor map. It's a Cardassian interior. It's not the Cardassian Ministry of Culture.
No, it's definitely because you can see the windows right there out into space. It's definitely. I'm pretty sure it's Deep Space Nine. I think one of the two Deep Space Nine interiors we have.
Might be the Deep Space Nine shutdown interior.
It could be. I think there's a second one too. That's a like it generally looks the same. Mirror. Yeah. One where you're fighting Undyne, and one where you're fighting Terrans.
Oh well.
All right, guys. To wrap up, let's go around the room and say, if there's anything else each person wants to say about this particular mission. HippieJohn says it's the shutdown interior, by the way. So it's a DS9. Interior? Yeah. All right. So, Mark, any last words about this mission?
Definitely a lot of fun. I mean, that's the number one thing I can think of to describe it, because of the fact that, the mission is comedic, and you go around and it doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, I remember this one mission that I played a while back that was basically it had you going off Captain Kirk style as a rogue captain trying to single-handedly take down the greatest threat the Federation has ever known, because the Starfleet Admiralty has decided that the threat isn't real. That is one of those hyper-serious things where either A, the writer does it exactly right and it is, you know, awesome, or it comes off as hokey and cliched. And his kind of came across as hokey because the aliens would do things that didn't really seem to have a purpose, just to show off how badass they are.
But I think in this case, it's actually that's its intention, is to kind of dial the hokiness up to 11.
I was giving you an example of something that was a bad thing from a different mission. It wasn't talking about this one.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the dice.
Yeah, because I think the Mayhems stood back. They kind of the story was unfolded in a way that they gave commentary, but they didn't, you know, yeah.
And that's really kind of one of those things that I think HippieJohn does pretty well here is, we've often said in the past how the player is always the main character,
right,
and attempts to like supersede the player and have an NPC be the main character, and come off as very bad sometimes. But I think in this case, it actually plays a very fine line between keeping the player the main character, but also having in these strong secondary characters that
the player is the main character, but the story revolves more around Mayhem than the main character, even though the what's the word for it? But yeah, it kind of like has both of them almost on an even footing, not one of them being way more important than the other.
And that's okay when you have good, strong characters that you've invented.
Well, it's almost like this is
Horient describes it as a buddy comedy.
Yeah,
like
that works.
You and Miranda.
I would go with that.
Almost a crossover episode.
I like that idea.
Yeah. But I still can't get too far away from the Saturday morning cartoon. I feel like you said, it's well written. It's and he's balanced it. So
well, one of the things that define the Saturday morning cartoon is the ability to laugh at yourself, because that's something that you don't really see in the majority of serious works. Is they always, do the whole "I'm serious all the time" sort of thing.
And that's, be honest, that's exactly what happened. While we were reading this story, there was like multiple times where Drogner laughed and I laughed, and because it was comical.
Yep, and it's good.
And,
well, the reason why I was mentioning that other mission, not that I remember what its actual name was, mind you, but is that mission took itself seriously, but it was so over the top that it was impossible to take it seriously. I mean, you have this alien threat that instead of blowing up Starfleet ships, it dismantles them from the inside out, often leaving nothing but their hull drifting through space. It's just one of those things where you just kind of scratch your head and wonder if the author is trying to be satirical or not.
What story was that?
I don't remember the name. It's something I read, played a long time ago, and it's been over a year since I played it.
I think what you're getting at, Mark, is that idea of, did the mission accomplish what it set out to do, and did it really come across as the author wanted it to? And I think in this case it did.
Yeah, in Hippie's case,
but in that other case, maybe it didn't.
Yeah, because the author, the best way I can think of to explain it is the author of that other mission went overboard in trying to make his what is essentially an alien of the week into this galaxy-spanning threat that is going to spell the doom of the Federation if you don't do something about them.
I think that's something a lot of authors do in a lot of missions, and maybe too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
It's tough to
smaller
fall
things.
into the tropes.
Yeah, I haven't quite went to the supervillain yet. Like I said, my only experience, like I said, is mine, and mine are one's kind of a whodunit. You know,
that
in
reminds
fact,
me of
I
something.
kind of end it at a cliffhanger. I don't let you know who the big bad guy is. You know?
Well, one thing I
Smoking
was thinking
trees.
about discussing on the show earlier this week, before I knew what we were actually going to do, was discussing how to write Nihilist.
We'll keep that topic in mind for next time. We'll go back to our final thoughts here. Abdul, final thoughts on this mission.
So, I've only got one question for HippieJohn, and that is, when is part 3 coming?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I know he's been working on it. Obviously, we don't want him to get into a Greendragoon style situation where it's years between installments, right?
I hope not.
Not that I'm any better at the moment. All right. Well,
That's another question.
Yeah.
How long does it take you, if you put your mind to it, how long does it take you to go from one project, put it out, to the next project?
I'd say it always varies between projects for me. I mean, some of them I've just, blown right through, got it done, and there was one that took 24 hours, there was one that took 2 weeks, and there's some that have taken months and months and months. So, I mean, it always kind of varies, and it depends on how much of it I have made in my head before I started making anything in the Foundry. That's for me, is I always visualize everything in my head for a long time before I actually even start building anything.
One more question. Before your first mission, right? Before you even put out the first mission, how long did the first mission take you?
8 months.
The first mission took 8 months.
Yeah, then the second one took 2 years.
He's sort of an unusual case, is Greendragoon. Most people, their first mission is a small one, usually. They're learning things, they're testing out things, they're feeling their way through everything, and usually most people don't make a gigantic, incredibly complicated, lots of triggers kind of mission their first time. Dragoon is the exception.
Yeah, in my case, I just did random stuff to see what I could do in the Foundry, and then, after I was done doing random stuff, I made up a story to go with it.
Okay. And how many times
That was
do
my
you
first
test
mission.
it? How many times do you test it before you, I guess, trade or, have someone run your mission? How many times do you test it to see if it'll break?
However many before I stop running out of things wrong with it.
I do several run-throughs. I mean, because as people have noticed about me, I look for ways to break the mission, and I will actually try to break my own missions when I'm testing it. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'll find something, mind you.
It's useful to try and do.
Yeah. It's always possible that someone else will come along later and notice something that I didn't. But hey, that's life.
And when you're trying to make your mission balanced, how do you make sure that, you've played it, you've run it as a single player. How do you get that feedback or judging when you goes from a single player or solo mission to like 4 or 5 people? how do you have 5 people test your mission, or what do you do to?
Well, missions can scale in strange ways, but it's typically space missions you have issues with, because ground missions actually get easier when you add more players. Because
As we saw today.
Because it doesn't actually increase the number of enemies you fight or even the quality of enemies you fight. It's just, you have 5 players instead of 1 player and 4 bridge officers. Which, truthfully, 1 player is worth as much as 2 or 3 bridge officers, but that's not the way the game's written. However, in space, it attempts to add enemies that are approximately equal to the number of players.
So yeah, it can get pretty tough.
Now, I would take a guess that probably people don't play Foundry missions as a group a lot. But I mean, the only way to test it is to try and find a couple of people, or even up to 5, and just run it, and go with them yourself.
I remember one of the ones that we did in the Foundry as a group. I think it was me, Drogon, Greendragoon, HippieJohn, and Bazag. I'm not sure about Bazag if I do, but anyways, we had that group going into a mission where we were fighting what were supposed to be shuttlecraft. And due to the way the mission had scaled for the 5-player space mod, we were actually fighting battleships that were reskinned as shuttlecraft.
Yeah, I remember that day I accidentally had it set to Elite, I think. Maybe. There was one day where I did that. But yeah, it's really the only way to test that is to try and find some people and run it.
Yeah. Some people that have been really helpful to me is Serpentine has been really helpful. Logic, Bull, all these guys have taken me through their missions, showed me how their mechanics are working, and just
tribal knowledge is the best resource we have.
Yeah, a lot of tribal.
All these from all these guys who have been doing it for years, like all of us here. That's sort of the best resource we have to help new authors.
And I don't think I've met a Foundry author that isn't fully willing to share any knowledge that he or she has gleaned.
Oh, absolutely. We're all in it together, right, guys?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
All trying to overcome the same limitations.
Exactly. Well, why don't we end it there? Dragoon, if you want to throw up our contact info, as usual.
Sure. If people want to get a hold of us, they can email us at foundryroundtable@live.com. We're also available on Twitter at FoundryRoundtab. Drogon can also be reached at Drogon1701. Mark here can be reached at Markhawkman, and I am, of course, available at Greendragoon.
Are you on Twitter, Abdul?
No, not yet. Not yet, but I will be.
You should. There's lots of Foundry authors on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And Star Trek Online developers as well that you can interact with. A lot of fun. All right. Well, we will say good afternoon for this week.
Definitely.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
All right. Take care.